very good evening to you all. You're joining us on Prime TV News. I'm Dilani Jaitilaka. Let's have a look at the headlines first. President suggests death penalty for those who misuse public property. United National Party commemorates its 72nd anniversary tomorrow. It is revealed at the commission that Sri Lankan Airlines had given 50 million rupees to a foreign firm. US Secretary of State Pompeo arrives in Pakistan. He is to meet the Prime Minister. Now for news in detail. President Maithripala Sirisena has said that death penalty should be handed down to those who misuse public funds and properties. He suggested that all the party leaders should consider the proposal and make necessary measures to draft laws in this regard. Speaking further, he said that the Good Governance government was dedicated to establishing a clean administration within the country devoid of fraud and corruption through the enforcement of decisions which were not possible to be taken for more than a 70-year period after gaining independence. The Parliamentary Committee on Public Accounts is monitoring and evaluating the performance of all state institutions. This year's award ceremony was held today at the Parliament premises for the second occasion. The Auditor General goes beyond the traditional method of examining the Auditor General's reports on government agencies and adhering to financial control regulations and regulations of all government organizations and obtaining information on performance through a computerized network program. It is done thereafter to assess the higher performance of the institutions according to the information analyzed and investigated. All government institutions across the country were inspected through the computer networking system of the Parliament relating to the 2016 fiscal year. Accordingly, the information of all the ministries of the central government, all departments, special units, district secretariats and local authorities from 837 institutes have been evaluated under various categories. Accordingly, awards were presented to 101 top performers in the fiscal year concerned. Expressing his views on the occasion, President Maithripala Sirisena said that it is being planned to soon establish the audit service, which was discussed for a period of 40 to 50 years. The President highlighted the importance of protecting the physical and human resources of institutions that work against corruption and fraud. Meanwhile, the interim report of the Office of the Missing Persons, established to look into information on the disappeared, was handed over to the President at the Parliamentary complex today. The report was handed over by the chairman of the commission, Attorney Salia Pires, and this interim report details the investigations carried out within 6 months. The 72nd anniversary of the launch of the United National Party that played a pioneering role in the national liberation struggle for Sri Lanka from the British Empire falls tomorrow. The services discharged by the United National Party, which was formed based on national unity and reconciliation on behalf of social and economic development, is magnificent. D.S. Senanayake was the first head of the United National Party, which was formed in the 1940s with leaders of several strong political organizations such as the Ceylon National Congress, the Sinhala Council, the Muslim Council and Tamil political leaders. The United National Party was established on September 6th in the year 1946 at the Farm Court House in Colombo. Whatever the political storm, the United National Party is the sole political party that is the largest political party in the country. In the past 71 years, the party was led by greats such as D.S. Senanayake, Sir John Kothalavala, J.R. Jayawardena, Ranasinghe Premadasa and the current head, Ranil Wickramasinghe. Among the main services discharged by the party were the launch of farmer colonies, the Mahavali scheme, the introduction of the open economy, the introduction of the Mahapola scholarship scheme, the establishment of free trade zone and the National Youth Services Council. The United National Party, led by the incumbent Prime Minister, is now engaged in the task of redeeming the country from loans heavily burdened for several decades. Meanwhile, the 72nd anniversary of the United National Party is scheduled to be commemorated tomorrow under the patronage of party leader and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Several parliamentarians undertook a visit to the Sirikotha Party UNP head office today to make inquiries on the arrangements. United National Party General Secretary Minister Akhila Viraj Karyavasam said that all arrangements have been finalized to hold the 72nd anniversary of the United National Party at the Sirikotha head office. The function will begin at 9:30 a.m. It will be held under the patronage of party leader Ranil Wickremesinghe. Senior party members, parliamentarians and invitees will be present. He said they expected the participation of all executive members of the party and all active party members. Parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayake said that they will be commemorating the party anniversary with keen enthusiasm. He said that they are determined to show the amount of work the party had discharged. A genuine change has now taken place and the people should be apprised of this change. The most unsuccessful demonstration staged by the joint opposition was witnessed in Colombo today. The joint opposition had mentioned that they would surround all public institutions within the Colombo city. But the demonstration was an unsuccessful one. Leaders of the joint opposition left their residencies in luxurious vehicles to join in the protest campaign. But the ordinary masses attended the demonstration coming in normal transport services. This joint opposition rally will go down in history as a day in which the supporters of the joint opposition was offered alcohol using the wealth they had earned burgling public property during the period in which they were in power. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe in Parliament yesterday invited the joint opposition to come to Colombo to enjoy democracy in 7-star hotels. Supporters of the joint opposition were able to witness today the changes that have taken place during the 3-year rule of the present government. Police attacks were a mandatory feature in protests staged during the previous regime. Unofficial power was vested in smashing heads of university students and public employees during the past government period. There was an opportunity to secure stay orders from the judiciary against demonstrations. But the requests made to secure restraining orders by the Cinnamon Gardens, the Kollupitiya and Thalangama police as a step of preparedness to causing any damage by the joint opposition protest to the presidential official residence, temple trees and parliament were rejected by the judiciary. This is the manner in which freedom and independence of the judiciary mentioned in the constitution are protected under this government. It has been revealed that the chief executive of Sri Lankan Airlines has given a sum of 50.7 million rupees to craft a new business plan on behalf of the Sri Lankan Airlines, which is running at a loss. This disclosure was made when the Presidential Commission inquiring into malpractices of the Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lanka Catering and Mihin Lanka companies convened today. Financial Management Chief of the Sri Lankan Airlines, Yasantha Dissanayake, gave evidence at the Commission today. The Sri Lankan Airlines appointed S.A. Chandrasekara, an advisor for the evaluation of a new business plan as a solution to the financial crisis. He had been appointed assuring a monthly salary of 250,000 rupees. Former Chairman Nishantha Wickremesinghe had appointed S.A. Chandrasekara in April 2010 to prepare a strategic business plan for 4 years for the company. Mr. Chandrasekara had prepared a 4-year plan estimated at $300 million. Mr. Dissanayake further told the Commission the former Chief Executive Officer Manoj Gunawardena vested him with the task of handing over this plan for a review by foreign companies. On 20th August 2010, Nishantha Wickremesinghe had appointed a 5-member committee for the selection of an evaluation firm. Further giving evidence, Mr. Dissanayake said that the committee had selected Via Capital. This was a recently established firm and lacked sufficient experience in aviation services. Only committee members Nihal Jayamanne and Manilal Fernando had approved this company. Another group of the voluntary resources personnel of the US is due in the island. The purpose of their visit is to conduct a course on English language within Sri Lanka. They will be arriving in the island at the invitation of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Agreement has been expressed for the launch of voluntary programs of the US Peace Force within Sri Lanka. The bilateral agreement in this respect is expected to be inked in February next year. It is planned to implement the program in collaboration with the Education Ministry. The group will include 100 voluntary resource personnel. Studies will commence in the year 2020. The launch of the service of the US Peace Force again will lead to a growth in friendly ties between Sri Lanka and the United States. The Supreme Court today ordered the case of contempt of court against Deputy Minister Ranjan Ramanayake to be taken up for hearing in December. Accordingly, a three-member bench, including Chief Justice Pesad Deb, ordered the case to be taken up on the 10th, 11th and 12th of December. The Attorney General has named 6 journalists as witnesses, while the 6 were issued notice to appear before court on the 10th when the case was taken up for hearing today. The appeals court has given dates for the debate of the appeals petition filed by former Presidential Secretary Lalit Weeratunga and former Director General of the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission. The date is the 5th of next month. They have been convicted of aiding and assisting and misappropriating a sum of 600 million rupees of the Sri Lanka Telecommunications Regulatory Commission during the last presidential election period. This appeals petition has been filed challenging the ruling. The operation launched for the pulling out of elephants stuck in the mud near the Periyaaru Tummodara Anicut, a tertiary of the Mahaveli River, has been completed. The herd of elephants was drowned at Elephant Pass while travelling from the Somavatiya National Park in Polonnaruwa. The operation for the pulling out of the carcasses commenced after the residents who came across the floating carcasses of the elephants brought it to the notice of the wildlife officials. The army supported the operation, which ended yesterday. Thereafter, the carcasses were buried. A religious ceremony, Pin Anumodana, with the participation of Buddhist monks led by the chief incumbent of the Onagama Medamaluwa Vihara, the Venerable Nikapitiye Chandimathera, was held in the memory of the elephants. Deputy Minister Palitha Tevara Peruma joined in the occasion. The 2018 Masco Awards Festival appraising the talented was held on a grand scale in Colombo. The Lanka Mass Communication Society organized the Masco 2018 Awards Festival for the 18th occasion. Those engaged in the media field as well as in various other creations were praised. The chief guest at the awards festival, which appraised the talented in several spheres, including the public service and the business sector, was Speaker Karujaya Surya. Damnike Atikinda, one of the managers of the Independent Television Network, also received an award. A former working director and media secretary of the Megapolis and Western Development Ministry, Danushka Ramanayake, was also feted. Many ministers and parliamentarians were among the large gathering present. That's all we have for you today. Prime News returns tomorrow. And in the meantime, make www.itnnews.lk your go-to source for the very latest in news at home and overseas. Have a pleasant week. Good night.